Okay, it's time. So I'll start. Namo Arihantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Ayariyanam, Namo Uvajayanam, Namo Loe Savasahunam. Eso Panchanamokaro Savapavapanasano Mangalalancha Savesim Padamam Havai Mangalam. Jai Janendra to everybody. Today our topic is bondage or liberation. The choice is mine. And we have Vanshika Jain as our junior speaker. And I'll briefly introduce her quickly, even though she has been with us before. Just give me 1 second. And Vanshika is 12 years old. She goes to Mount Lebanon School. She's in 7th grade. She belongs to Jain Society of Pittsburgh. She is mentored by mainly her mom and, of course, the rest of the family, her dad and grandparents also. And she says she wants to become a pure soul and ultimately attain moksha. Okay, over to you, Vanshika.
Janand. So as Pravanti mentioned, today's topic is bondage or liberation. Now, I'm sure we all know what those mean, but what is bondage in Jainism? So bondage is simply the attachment from a soul to matter or garms. And I like to think of this like a kite, right? Every time we accumulate garms, every time we get greedy or anything, we tie our kite string tighter. Every time we get a new toy and we get attached to that, we continue to tie our kite string tighter. And the ultimate goal is to, slowly forget about this stuff, slowly not become bonded, and let the kite, which is our soul, fly away and attain moksha. So let's start with what is bondage to God. So as Jains, we believe that everyone is born equal, and everything we have right now, everything that we like to talk about is impacted by our garms. And garms affect every aspect of our life, right? They affect where we're born, what family we're born into, our wealth, everything. So garms can impact you well, punya, or bad, pap. So how do we get rid of our bad paps? How do we turn them into punya? So there are 4 passions that I'm sure we've all experienced, like krodh, anger, lobh, greed, man, pride, and maya, delusion. Anger, we always get angry on something or another. And greed, we're never happy with what we have. We always thrive for more. And man, which is pride, I'm just putting myself on the spot here. Whenever Brahmacharya gave me this opportunity to speak, if she told me that this would be a completely blank screen, they would not see who I am, they would not know my name, I would probably second guess if I still wanted to do this presentation. And, these 3 things give us a delusion that we are better than others, we deserve more. And this stuff, at the end of the day, is stopping us from living a completely free life, is giving us baggage. So that's bondage to garm. But what's bondage to matter? And bondage to matter and bondage to garm go like together almost, because the less you have, the less you talk about. So an example of this is, my father told me 25 years ago, if you wanted to communicate, you had to pay 25 cents and you get like a 1-minute call, which I can't imagine. But some genius thought of an 4 by 3 inch rectangle in which we could text and we could call, but that was about it. But now with that, we have apps, we have social media, so we can talk about what we're doing. We have video games in case we get bored, all of this stuff. And with all of these apps, we basically live an online life that has our passwords, our credit card information, everything saved. So 25 years ago, if we lost our phone, it's really no big deal. We could live without it. But today, because of all of our credit card information, we're so reliant on this device that I could not go a day without it. But bondage to matter is so much more than just materials. It's also objects and humans around us. For instance, if I was to ask everyone to get up right now and leave their home, would you leave without worrying, is my door locked? Are my windows shut? What if someone gets in? What if someone steals everything? Is my AC off? And, are the significant others who live with me, will they have something to eat? Will they be well fed? And I would just like to tell a really short story of a disciple, right? And he gave up all the bondages. He gave up his family, money, luxury, and he was on his way to attain salvation. But the one thing that he could just not give up was his guru. He loved his guru so much and he wanted to be just like him, that is what ended up stopping his kite, stopping his soul from attaining moksha. Now, obviously I acknowledge that we all have duties here today. We can't just abandon everything. And our Jain Muni Maharajas are on a whole other level. They take it as far as not wearing clothes, because that's just an unnecessary bondage. They do not use their they use their hands to eat, because if eating from a plate, you just kill unnecessary G. And they take it so far, having one meal and one glass of water a day, which is the bare minimum to stay alive. Now, obviously, we can't do that today. But what can we do? Well, I suggest we take baby steps, right? I feel like in today's life, and it's been really, really shown by COVID, half of our life is online. So let's set time limits. Let's do like 5 to 10, 15 minutes on YouTube, and let's delete all unnecessary apps. Let's not become too attached to these devices so that if we lose it, we're not really worried over it. And, if we ever want a new pair of shoes, instead of thinking, let me keep my old pair of shoes in my closet just in case I need this, because chances are it's going to be sitting in the back of our closet and we're going to wear it maybe another 1 or 2 more times. Well, if we donate it, that person's going to wear it hundreds of times. And for our 4 passions, right? Greed, for instance, we all feel greed. We always want more. But let's start off by just doing, with cell phones, we have so many cool features on them now, like instead of 1, 2, 3 cameras. If our old one still works, what really is the purpose of upgrading? And for, of course, Pride Month, I challenge not just myself, but everyone listening today. Next time you have an opportunity to donate, let's donate without putting our name on it. Let's donate anonymously. Next time you work on a project that you spent a really long time into, try to present it, try to show it anonymously. I mean, it's quite hard. And I would lastly like to thank everyone here today for breaking the bondage, whatever it is you usually do on a Sunday night, for taking time out and to spend Uttam Brahmacharya with us. And I hope everyone had a great Das Lakshana. Jai Janand.
Very good. Excellent, Vanshika. I like the way you spoke, the way you explained with so much confidence. Very good. I'm sure all of us got a lot out of your research that you did. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Auntie.
And let's see, I'm going to, do you want me to introduce you or not, Priyaji? I'll give you the choice. No, okay. So now we have Dr. Priyadarshana Jain and doing the same topic, bondage or liberation. The choice is mine.
How much time do I have? It's 6:10.
Yes. So you are in good time. You got full 40 minutes.
40 minutes. I need to wind up by 6:50.
Mhm.
Let me try. Yeah. So, Jai Jinendra, everybody. I'll just do the prayer. Omkara bindu samyuktam nityam dhyayanti yoginaha kamadam mokshadam chaiva Omkaraya namo namaha. First of all, I would like to congratulate Vanshika. It was a nice presentation. Keep doing such presentations. Keep healing mankind. Keep healing the environment. Keep healing the self. Focus on yourself as you keep doing Jinshasan Prabhavna. Thank you, Prabhaji, for the invite. And thank you, Jaina, for the invite. And thank you, audience members, for tuning in time. And today, as we celebrate the 9th day of Das Lakshan, right? Or the 10th day, Prabhaji. It's 10th day in
It is
in
10th day,
Chennai.
but 9th for us.
In-
But we
yeah.
are shifted by 1 day. So, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sorry about that sound. I don't know from where it is coming.
It's okay. I don't think we can hear it. So it's fine.
Okay. Okay, fine. So as we celebrate Uttam Brahmacharya, okay. So, and the topic is bondage and liberation is mine. So both are very much interconnected. And talking about Dasalakshan and bondage and liberation, the topics that we have chosen, they're all interconnected. So you don't have to see these topics in watertight compartments. They overlap and they talk about, when you talk about one topic, you have to understand that in the context of another topic also. So that is the whole scheme of behind the topics and the presentations and the titles. So today, Brahmacharya, what is the meaning of the word Brahmacharya? There are 3 connotations which I would like you all to note down, and it will be of great help once the selection are over. All these lectures, I would like you all to rerun them, revisit them, and keep getting the food for thought to sustain you till the next Dasalakshan. So the 3 connotations from Brahmacharya, from there I would like to take up the topic of bondage and liberation. Are they connected? Or what is my choice? You will see very clearly that our choice is liberation in our thoughts. But indeed, bondage is our choice. You will see this through this definition. Not definition, through the 3 connotations of Brahmacharya. When you split the word Brahmacharya, you get 2 words, Brahma plus Charya. And each has 3 connotations. So in the first case, Brahmacharya, Brahma means Atma. Charya means Raman. To abide in your own pure consciousness. To be a knower and seer. That is coming home. They say the kingdom of God is within. So that is the kingdom of God that is waiting for us. And we are not ready to knock at it. So we are in a Brahmacharya state. When we are not in our pure conscious state, when we are not functioning as a pure soul, as a knower and seer, but we end up being a doer and enjoyer of material things, then we are in a state of a Brahmacharya. So these 10 days, Dasalakshan, are for us to come unto ourselves, realize ourselves and release ourselves. And nothing short of liberation, nothing but ultimate. If I want knowledge, I want the supreme knowledge. If I want conduct, I want the supreme conduct. If I want the vision, I need the supreme vision, that beyond which there is nothing. So the purpose of all these, the selection and all, are to understand the Atma Jyoti hidden in the 7 tattvas. You have the 7 tattvas in Jainism, living, non-living, influx of karma, stoppage of karma. But all these happen when you realize the Brahma within, when you realize the Brahman within. They say, no, Aham Brahmasmi. This is the clarion call of the Vedas, of the Upanishads. So here we say, Aham Brahmasmi means I am of the nature of Brahman, consciousness, living, and not a non-living body, thought, mind, etc. etc. So, but how are you going to realize this Brahman? How are you going to abide in it? So without the study of scriptures, it is not possible. And how will you study the scriptures? You have to have the proximity with your enlightened guru. So you have to have Guru Pasti, you have to go to the guru, you have to seek the guru. So once you meet an enlightened guru, and we are all so lucky that sitting at home, there are so many gurus who are pouring the Jinvani to us. So we have to set in our transmitters, our radios and TVs and antennas and get those pravachan and get that knowledge and then come to the state of brahmacharya. So in the process, vidya adhyayan. The second meaning of brahmacharya is vidya adhyayan. Vidya means knowledge. Adhyayan means study. So sa vidya ya vimuktaye. That is again a very beautiful Sanskrit subhashit which says true knowledge is that which liberates you. But today we see that whatever knowledge we have got attached to the material things, whether it is our mobile or TV or our laptop or the gadgets, the social media, the TV, and the things that are outside. We cannot detach ourselves from them. So knowledge and technology have made us dependent on other things. And today, in place of intelligence, we are talking of artificial intelligence. It may be good in certain contexts, but when it comes to spiritual learning, intelligence is what is important and not artificial intelligence. Intelligence is your own very nature, your innate nature. So when you come to it through scriptural study, it is brahmacharya. And then what happens as a consequence of it? It will be virya rakshan. The third connotation is virya rakshan. Virya means what? Virya means every soul is a powerhouse of energy. Every soul is a powerhouse of energy. Once again, I'm just coming to the gallery view. How do I switch this off? Yeah. So every soul is a powerhouse of energy, but all our energy is being used up in material things. One second, I need to come to the gallery view. I'm not able to see the gallery view.
Go right, top right view.
Yeah, I got it. Hello. Am I visible to all of you?
Yes, it doesn't change on my main screen, so don't worry. You're fine.
Yeah, there I am. Yeah. So for example, whatever food you're supposed to take, when you study the 11 pratimas, you will study that we need to take a very simple, bland diet. If we take too very heavy food, toxic food, then all our energy is used for digestion. So we have to give the minimum work to the body and take the maximum work from the body to go into the higher states. That is why you see there is so much of thought related to the discipline of food and the discipline of your movement, etc., etc., because all this amounts to brahmacharya. Now, how do we link these two topics, bondage and liberation? First of all, what is bondage? Are we really in the state of bondage? In the last lecture of mine, I gave you the example of the elephant and the boy. The elephant is not in bondage, but since a very long time, right from it started growing to be an adult, right from its childhood, the elephant was tuned to understand that the boy is the master and it has to obey the master. And in whatever state the boy or the man keeps him, he's supposed to be. This command he is given to himself, and so he behaves like that. But the elephant is definitely more powerful than the man that has tamed it. So when it realizes its innate power, it will break all the shackles and then it will be a free bird. But for this to happen, it has to realize its power. In the same way, when we realize the innate power of the soul, then the bondage can be removed. Until then, it will be in a state of bondage. So basically, friends, bondage and liberation, they are all in the mind only. They are all in the mind. They are like, for example, you have the thread, you have the knot in the thread. So the knot is of the thread only. And the jiva is jnana swabhav, and the knots are there in the jnana only, in the knowledge only. So when you correct your knowledge, you are on the path of liberation. Until then, we will be in the path of bondage. So primarily bondage happens because we don't know our swabhav. We don't know our nature. We don't know the infinite power of the soul. We do not know the ananta virya swabhav. So all our virya is going in getting the knowledge of other things and not focusing on the ananta jnana swabhav. So the jiva is of the nature of dasalakshan. The jiva is of the nature of dasalakshan or infinite lakshan, but we group it into 10. So when you realize this infinite properties of the soul, my soul is an abode of these infinite properties. When you realize that first, then you begin to manifest them. Without the realization that I am an abode of these 10 virtues, I am an Atma, I am having infinite Kshama, Bhav, Mardhav, Arjav, Satya, I am the truth. Satya, Uttam Satya, I am the truth. Only then the true renunciation will begin. The true Brahmacharya, the true detachment, everything will begin. So with this realization only, what happens? The liberation process begins. So first, the two reasons for bondage are primarily not knowing one's swabhav, not knowing one's nature, and the purushartha. We are exerting in the wrong direction. Because we don't know our swabhav, we don't know our nature, we exert in the wrong direction. This is the root cause of bondage. That is why we are in bondage. And then the Jain scriptures talk about 5 kinds of bondage. The 5 kinds of bondage. The first one is mithyatva, that is perversion. The perverse attitude is bondage. If you change your attitude, 99% of the liberation has been achieved. 99% of the path of liberation has been covered just by correcting our attitude. And that attitude correction can happen only and only through scriptural study and primarily through the works of Kunda Kunda. Primarily through the works of Kunda Kunda. So first cause of bondage is mithyatva, and when you realize yourself, it will become samyaktva. It will become right faith, right knowledge, right conduct. The unity of these 3 jewels will begin just by realizing our pure soul, just by realizing who we are and what we are, what is our innate power. And when you realize, the baby steps that you will take is resolving not to go into the material world, minimum, to the bare minimum you will keep it, and you will come to the state of vratas. You will take to the Anuvratas, you will take to the Mahavratas, you will take to the Pratimas, you will take to small vows. You will rejoice when you take to these vows, and you will feel burdened when you don't take to these vows. That will happen when the attitude correction happens. Okay, you will try to be in your limit and not to allow your knowledge and your conduct to be unlimited in the material world, gathering unlimited karmas. You will limit the bondage of karmas, the karmas that come to you. So whatever activity we do through body, mind, speech, we are attracting karma. And inside, there is the glue of the kashat. There is the glue of the passions with the perverse attitude. So because of this passion, because of these passions and the perverse attitude, the karmas that stick to the soul are immense. So when you realize that you are a pure soul and whatever you do, you're binding karmas, you will immediately restrict your activities of body, mind, and speech. You will not allow your virya, you will not allow your energy to be wasted. I'll give you one small example, like a small baby step in this direction. Like when you get up in the morning, this is how I do it, I practice. I do not want to visit my bed again. So what I do, as soon as I get up, and how do I get up and all this, there's a lot of swar vigyan and all that. So I follow all that. And then I see that I dust my bed, I fold the blankets, keep it in place, all the pillows, all the things are in place. I just dust it. It has been my negative energy for the night. As soon as I wake up, I leave the bed and I keep my right foot or my left foot according to the swar. I keep it forward, and then with all my prayers, and then I just go to the mirror, wear a smile, and I tell myself I'm going to be happy. I'm a pure soul. Anand is my nature, and I'm going to be happy come what may. So that happiness is my nature. The joy is my nature, and all the duties that I will do, I will think it is my karmic fruition, which is making me do. I'm not a doer. So this is how I give all the auto suggestions, affirmations, and then I attend to my daily, the day-to-day work. And primarily, I'm more into Swadhyay, and I believe in Swadhyay because if I'm not doing Swadhyay, I'm not learning how to manifest my energy. I'm only going to waste my energy. So this is how the Brahmacharya is not just refraining from sensual and sexual pleasures. It is much more than that. It is much more coming into enjoying the spiritual self we are. So I always tell that we are not human beings with spiritual experiences, but we are spiritual beings with human experiences. So when you change your attitude, when there is a complete paradigm shift, only then we will be able to come on the right path. So Dasalakshan are there for us to guide us to come on the right path, which we have never done since time immemorial. So the 5 kinds of bondage I was telling you, that the first one is perverse attitude, and then you take to vratas. When you take to vratas, then you are ever careful, you're ever remembering your pure soul. So that is called apramad. And now you're not in a state of pramad, which is the third cause of bondage. Then when you give up pramad, only then the kashai will go, the glue inside will go. That is why it is told, kashaya mukti kila mukti reva. That is, freedom from the fourfold passions is real freedom. And these fourfold passions get the strength from the perverse attitude. With the perverse attitude, these fourfold passions are anantanubandhi, which will beget infinite transmigration. Once the perverse attitude is gone, this kashai loses all the power, and it is no longer the anantanubandhi type. So first we have to do the attitude correction, that is, we have to remove the perverse attitude, and that can happen only through scriptural study, through the proximity of a guru, etc., etc. So once the kashai is gone, what remains is the 3 channels of activity, the yoga, mana, vachana, kaya, body, mind, and speech. They will eventually drop out. You don't have to work to get rid of them. They have no role now to play. They realize that you're not using them at all. You don't need them at all. So nature will not give it to you. You're not binding the karmas. So you're not going to give it to yourself. And that state is the videha moksha. That is the bhava moksha, or the nirvana state, or the liberation state. So here you see, friends, that liberation begins with the right understanding of the soul. And I would request you all to read the book Dasalakshan, Dasalakshan Pravachan by Dr. Hukam Chanji Bharal, which is a great source of insight about the Dasalakshan. Okay, friends. So bondage and liberation, they are actually in the knowledge. And I gave you the example of the elephant and the boy, which I think you remember when I came to you just 3 days ago, 3 or 4 days ago. And I hope you remember that example. Okay, friends. So then now the question is, how can we overcome perversion? How can we overcome mithyatva? So there was a beautiful video from one of my students as I was coming for the lecture this morning. It says that the mind cannot process anything negative. If you tell your mind, I don't want mithyatva, I don't mithyatva, you are only building the mithyatva. So what you have to do is, instead of telling, I don't want passions, I don't want kashai, I don't want vratas, you have to give the affirmation that I am a pure soul, I am divine, I am capable of infinite things, etc., etc. Only then the mind can process it. If you keep on telling, I don't want darkness, you're focusing on darkness. So you need not say, I don't want darkness. What you have to do, you have to just switch on the light. The darkness is gone. In the same way, when you switch on the light of being a pure soul, even on your deathbed, you can rejoice. Even in the most extreme adverse situations, you will be at peace with yourself. So whether it is favorable or unfavorable situations outside, you know to balance your mind, you know to balance your emotions. So you become a master of your emotions. you do not remain a slave of your emotions or your mind or your passions. So that is the magic of doing the swadhyaya and taking to brahmacharya. So just doing the scriptural study should not end up memorizing the 7 tattvas, the details, and also we have to come to tattva abhyas. Tattva gyan should lead to tattva abhyas. How to do this? I'll give you quick examples. Like for example, I'm talking now. So which tattva is at work? So I would understand that it is the asrav tattva at work. Okay, asrav is happening, influx of karma is happening. But when I'm talking, am I not knowing I'm talking? So I'm a knower. So that is the jiva tattva. Okay, that is the jiva tattva. And all this talking, etc., is material in nature. That is ajiva tattva. So likewise, I have to keep applying the tattva gyan. And then, and every moment I have to be mindful. I have to be attentive. Every moment I have to remember that I'm a knower and seer and not a doer. That doesn't mean you keep doing things, you keep eating things, you keep enjoying things and keep telling I'm knower and seer. There's a very thin line of difference in actually understanding being a knower and seer and doing the material things in a detached way. And talking about being a knower and seer and rejoicing and doing these things, so there's a very thin line of difference. So let us not be cheated. That is why Kunda Kunda says, Chalam na ghitavam. Do not be deceitful. Be clear to your conscience. So everything the conscience will tell you, the conscience will guide you. So you just have to awaken your conscience and abide by it. So that I think is a small baby step towards the path of liberation. Now there's one very beautiful concept in the Jain scriptures, and that is called as the Param Parinamik Bhav. I'll request you all to read about this Param Parinamik Bhav. And about this, if you want to read, you should read this book, Karan Shuddha Parya, which is Pravachan on Niyam Sar. And I'll tell you one thing, when I read about this, I was totally blown by the concept. And you will not find this concept much referred to in the Jain circles, because only those who are very deep and into systematic study of Jainism would have found this concept. Now what is this Param Parinamik Bhav? You have 5 kinds of bhav. I'm not going to go into the technical details of it. I leave it to the audience members to visit the Tattvartha Sutra and all these texts and read the book Bhava Deepika. Read the book Bhava Deepika. And sometimes if Jaina wants and Prabhaji wants, we can do a wonderful lecture series on this book. It's a wonderful book, and we can study about the 5 bhavas. We can study about Acharam Sutra, and there are so many beautiful texts that we can take up and we can do the textual study very, very systematically. Okay, so that was again food for thought for the next 1 year that we need to give to ourselves. Okay. So what was I talking about? The Param Parinamik Bhav. There is one aspect of your consciousness, which is not one aspect. Your consciousness is totally untouched by karma, by the kashai, and by the kaya. Today, if we were to die and leave this body, the soul will instantaneously leave the body and go. It is not at all related with the body. Now, why is it trapped in the body? Because it did not realize itself, because it did not abide in itself, because it did not rejoice in itself. So it got the kashai. Now, the moment it did the kashai, the karmas came. The karmas came, so it got the body. So this cycle has been going on. And this is there because the soul did not realize its Param Parinamik Bhav, which is untouched by all this. That is a pure consciousness. That is the pure knowing and seeing nature. Yeah. So when you realize that, only then the perversion, the mithyatva, avirati, pramad, kashai, all will go. And in the absence of this realization of this Param Parinamik Bhav, it is the Audaik Bhav. It is a fruition of karmas that is happening, and we get involved, we get attached to it, and we bind more karmas. And when we understand this Param Parinamik Bhav, only then the Opshamik Bhav, the Chayopshamik Bhav, the Kshaik Bhav will take place. So that is the importance of the Paramparinamic Bhav, the intrinsic nature of the pure soul, which is untouched by karmas, which is untouched by kashai, which is untouched by the body, etc., etc. When you realize this, that is the beginning of overcoming bondage. That when you realize that Paramparinamic Bhav, you have tasted liberation. You have experienced liberation. And when this experience increases, then the Dravya Moksha or whatever nirvana or liberation is to happen. But when you don't work on yourself and you dream of liberation, then again, that is again a perverse attitude. So first we have to do the attitude correction and then come on the path of moksha and then not worry about liberation and not simply talk about it and worry about liberation. Now, I would like to share with you one very important concept in Jainism, that is avashyak. Jainism talks about the 6 avashyakas. The very ardent Jains, in the Jain circle, you will know people doing the pratikraman and doing the 6 avashyakas. Now, what is the meaning of the word avashyaka? Vash means getting addicted to something. You're overpowered by something. It's called vash. Avash means not being enslaved by anything, not being overpowered by anything, not giving up, succumbing to the temptations of the material world. So that state of equanimity, that state of awareness, that state of self-realization is called as avash state. That is a state of samayik. That is a state of samayik. So the first avashyak is, now loosely translating avashyak, we say essential. So I ask people, what is avashyak? They'll say, yeah, it is avashyak. Avashyak means it is important, it is essential that we do these 6 avashyakas every day. We do the pratikraman every day, we do samayik every day, we do the chaturvimshati stava, the vandana, the 6 avashyakas. You'll have to read the names of the 6 avashyakas. So, but yesterday also I did this important thing. Again, today I'm doing it. Again, tomorrow. So how long we'll be doing these avashyakas? How long will be taking to these avashyakas? Until and unless we come to the avash state, we will be doing this avashyakas, which are in the vyavahar point of view. They are not even samyak vyavahar. They are not even samyak vyavahar. But when you realize your pure soul and you want to abide in your pure soul, that state of avashyak is called as the samayik avashyak. Samayik, sambhav. Now you become equanimous. Whatever comes in the world, let it come. Let there be an earthquake. Let there be flood. Let there be cancer. Let there be corona. Let there be death. I choose not to be affected by them. I choose enlightenment over depression or anxiety or tension. I choose to be aware of the present moment and not worry about the past or future. That state of an evolved soul is called as samayik. But how will this samayik come? You have to look at the tirthankars. You have to look at the role models. Okay. And then you are inspired to be on the state of equanimity. Now the gurus are those who are perfecting the state of samayik. The Dev, Bhagwan are those who have perfected the state of samayik. The gurus are those who are on the path of perfection of this state. That is the third avashyak. The fourth avashyak is the pratikram. Oh my God, all these while I have not come to my pure soul. I'm sorry for that. I've not reached that evolved state. I've not reached the enlightened state. I'm sorry for that. That is pratikrama. That is expiation. Okay, that is atonement. That is prayashchit. Now you have realized what you have to do next is kayotsav. You have to meditate on your pure self. And then take to the small resolutions that I will be careful in taking to the worldly things. I do the pratyakya. I will not go beyond this. I will not do this, but I will remain to be in my pure soul. I choose to be in the state of, on the path of liberation and not, I don't choose bondage. So the 6 avashyakas, they are here. We have to understand that only through self-experience, experience of the self, and we reach that state where we are not bogged down by the karmas, by the kashai, by the negative or the positive things that are happening outside. It is not to become stoic like a stone. It is outwardly, externally, it may appear that you have become stoic like a stone. But inwardly, there is so much of churning and so much of magic. There is so much of dynamism, spiritual dynamism that is happening inside. So that will that will liberate you. That will eventually liberate you. So you choose liberation now, then you become liberated. But if without the realization of the self, matlab, we are choosing bondage and we talk of liberation, and that will keep eluding us. So this is how we need to understand that these six avashakas are six, but they are actually one. From the objective point of view, to be in the pure self is samaya, and to be in the pure self is kayotsarg. To come to the pure self is pratyakyan, and all these six avashakas you have to understand. For this, a very beautiful example I can give you, and that is the treatment process. For example, if you're diagnosed with a tumor, what do? You don't sit at home. You immediately get it operated. And supposing the day has been fixed for operation, a day earlier or a few hours earlier, you report, and then the duty doctors prepare your body, your temperature, your blood pressure, everything is prepared for the operation. So first you have to take admission in the hospital, then the senior doctors will come and attend to you, then the duty doctors attend to you, and then on the said day and time, the process of operation happens, and then they don't leave your wound open, they just bandage it, and then they give you some pills to heal the wound. The same process we have to understand for the six avashakas. Coming to the pure soul is admission. We all have been diagnosed, not we all. Paramatma says that we are with the tumor of karma, and that karma is there because of the kasha. So the day you realize that I'm a fit and fine pure soul, these karmas and kashai are the tumor that has affected me, and they are spoiling my peace of mind. So I have to get them removed. So what you have to do? You have to take to the discipline, and you have to get admitted, and that is the sama. And then the senior doctors are the devta, not devta, the paramatma. They are the role models, but they cannot be with you forever. So the duty doctors, the gurus are there who will work with you, who will help you, who will guide you. And then you have to do the operation of removing the perverse attitude, removing the kashai, removing the karma. And then you have to resolve that you don't go back to those old things. You have to resolve that you don't go back to a brahmacharya, kashai, and impurities and all these kind of things. And for that, you resolve. You take to pratyakyan. So small resolutions, they are to beautify the soul. So these six avashakas are very, very important, but simply doing it as a ritual, the philosophy behind it, the spirituality behind it is more important. So I hope you understand this part. So definitely Dasalakshan and liberation are connected. First, we have to understand the Dasalakshan Swarup Atma. Atma is of the nature of Brahmacharya. Atma is of the nature of detachment. Atma doesn't have any pocket where it can keep the karmas and kashai and all these things. It is a divine pure soul. So when you realize the pristine purity, divinity, then the spirituality comes, and then the more and more, see, when you want to be with yourself, it is a spiritual thing. But when you come outside, you will be at most non-violent, humane, compassion in action. All these things will flow. You don't have to be told not to cut down trees, not to waste water, not to waste paper, not to waste electricity, not to harm anybody. Sahaj mein, naturally, it flows from within. You are connected to your inner core. You are connected to the inner core of all the jivas. As you are, you look upon everybody, and then the true compassion in action also begins. Okay, friends. So these are the things that I just wanted to share with you. How much time do I have, Prabhaji? I think I'm done. I've taken.
Good. Actually, no, you do have 5 more minutes if you want to take it.
So I would like to say that these 8 days of Paryushan and Dasalakshan, I hope I have been able to give you a lot of insight into true Jainism. So I always tell my students, there are 2 kinds of Jainism. One is a pure Jainism and one is a popular Jainism. So popular Jainism is all the Kriya that we do. Building temples, going to the temple, doing the puja, doing the bhakti, taking to all these religious activities, taking to Paryushan, taking to Dasalakshan, Pravachan, all things external is the popular Jainism. But without understanding the pure, the true Jainism, the essence of Jainism, the pure Jainism will not start. So when I say pure Jainism, actually Jainism is not pure or impure. It is our way of talking. Pure Jainism is those people who understand the truth and then they take to the practices. So that will eventually liberate. So when you understand, it is Samyak Darshan, Samyak Jnana, and when you take to it, it is Charita. So you will see in the works of Kunda Kunda, Dansana Mula Dhammo, Charita Mulo Dhammo, Vinaya Mulo Dhammo. So you will feel, oh, they are talking of Dharma. The root of Dharma is Charitra. Sometimes they say the root of Dharma is Darshan. Sometimes they say the root of Dharma is Vinay. But when you dig deep down into scriptures, you will realize that all three are talking of the same thing. When Darshan refers to awakening, the inner awakening. Only when the inner awakening happens, the Anantanubandhi Kashaya are gone. So Charitra has happened. Swarup Acharan Charitra has happened through Darshan. And then Vinay. Vinay means what? Vishesh Prakar se, in a very, very special way. Coming closer to truth. Naya means that which helps you to come close. Please mute everybody, Prabhaji. Yeah. So Naya means coming closer to truth. And Vinaya means coming closer to truth in a very divine way. So externally, we feel Namo Ariyantanam, Namo Siddhanam, that we need to bow down to the Arhats, to the Siddhas, etc. But the Arhats and Siddhas are not worried about you bowing down to them. Your salutations, your veneration is not going to make them happy or sad. So what is the purpose of this veneration in Jainism? So we have to venerate to them and realize how they are venerating to their pure soul, how they are apni atma mein wo kaise nam gaye hain. That we have to learn from them, how they have visited their pure soul. Looking at them, we have to learn to look at our own selves. Only then the real Jainism, Jainism is not just giving talks. Jainism is living, experiencing an awakened, enlightened, spiritual, compassionate way of living. So, and friends, I think this is the need of the hour. We need to propagate the divinity in man so that the humanity in society is intact and we have a wonderful planet to sustain us. So with these words, I would again like to thank Jaina and Prabhaji and all the audience members who have been very patient listeners, who have interacted, who have asked questions, who have learned a lot of things. And we hope that we'll continue to follow and reach our pure soul. And that's it. Thank you so much. And if I've hurt anybody knowingly or unknowingly through thought, word, and deed, I beg pardon from everybody. And I would like to tell you, please take the baby steps in the right direction. Thank you so much. Jai Jai.
Can you please mute yourself? I'm trying to see who is unmuted, where the noise is coming from. Oh, okay. Okay. All right, Jai Jinendra, thank you so much, Priyadarshana ji, again for a wonderful, wonderful lecture. Really appreciate all of the ones you have given, and a lot of people have appreciated. We've gotten some very good feedback. And let's do our questions for now, and then I'll go over the future program. Tomorrow will be our last presentation on magic of Swadhyay. Priyadarshana ji just touched a little bit upon it, but tomorrow we'll get to hear more. And tomorrow we hope to see all of you, because tomorrow is our last day. We would like to recognize our speakers, hopefully get to see some of the Jaina committee members, even though, you know, they've told me they're really busy right now with some Jaina elections and stuff going on. All right, so let's start the questions. please try to turn the videos on, say your name, and answer the question. Okay, so here's the first question. Nobody wants bondage. Why then are we in bondage?
Is it mithyatva, kashay? Is
I
making
guess,
our bondage?
right. Mithyatva basically means that you don't have the correct understanding. You don't have the correct faith. But, and that also translates to not knowing your own swabhav. Right? And then we are doing things right now which are going in the wrong direction. Once we knew who we are, what our true nature is, that's when we will know to put all our efforts towards staying in our own nature. You know, you really don't have to do anything to be in your own nature. Basically, you don't have to do anything to be in your own nature. But we're doing a lot of stuff. Okay, next question. Where is bondage and liberation? And give an example.
In our own mind.
Okay, that's true. And how about an example?
वो
She too said two
हाथी
stories.
हाथी का एग्जांपल दिया ना.
Right. Yeah, she told us the story of the elephant that was
सब कुछ ज्ञान में होता है. सब कुछ
childhood
ज्ञान.
that he is binding, he's getting chained. And then one fine day, even though they didn't have the chain, they just did the action of chaining it. And the elephant thought he's changed and he cannot release himself. So same way, nobody's really holding us back. We think that our families are holding us or our children love us, so we need to be held back. But that's not at all the case. It's just all our imagination.
Is it
So-
something that if you don't do it, then you are motionless, or you don't have a feeling for your kids or your spouse or your friends or something?
No, that's not true. You will still be compassionate. You will still help people. You will still continue to do the things, but you will do it without that attachment towards it. You will be very udasin. Okay. Just say you will suppose, you see somebody having an accident on the road. I mean, we are humans. We are compassionate, right? So we'll probably stop and help them out. But okay, we help them, we're done. We go home and then we don't remember them much, or we don't really care about that much because they were not our relatives. We were not attached to them. So we are udasin towards them, even though we helped them, we did everything for them as we would for any relative.
It should be clear in your mind that the real dharma or real religion is different from these good actions.
I have a follow-up question. Does this mean that, say I cross the road and somebody fell down, I go to help them, and then they are taken care of. Is the part that is the detachment part, or the presence of attachment, would it be related to the emotional feelings you get, like, oh, I get all emotional about that, and then I go and help them, and oh, I helped this man and now he's better because of me? Is that the attachment part, and
Yes.
the detachment part would be without
that is the attachment, because you're feeling you could do it for him, or you
Doership,
couldn't do it for him.
Okay, got it.
So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that this is misconcluded or misunderstood, the emotions and then your duty,
yeah, I mean, at this point can be elaborated a lot. I mean, I cannot get into all the depth of this, actually. I mean, of course, the ultimate is like our sadhus. Okay, if our sadhus, even if when they're living in the jungles, they are seeing the lion eating the deer or somebody else eating somebody, They're not trying to do anything to help anybody out.
This attachment is at
completely
various
detached.
levels. They are at
Prabhaji,
various
can I help?
levels.
Yeah,
depending
let
on our-
Priyadarshana ji talk one second.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let
let her-
Shanti sir finish. He was to say
No, no, it's
something.
okay. It's okay. Please
Let him
ask her.
finish. No, you finish the statement.
Okay, so this attachment, Rag Dvesh, our charitra comes in 4 levels: Anantanubandhi, Apratyakhani, Pratyakhani, and Sanjwalan. So, depending on what state of your soul's spiritual development you are, based on that background, you have conquered certain amount of those passions. Those, whether you conquered Anantanubandhi, that means now you have a clear understanding that you are soul. All others are temporary sanyog. Even though you're still not having vows like a anuvrati shravak, or you don't have the vows like a muni, or you don't have not reached that level of gunastan till 10th. Okay, but depending on your background, meaning where you are in your spiritual development, you still have certain amount of attachment. So when you say this udasin bhav, it's not 100% vitrag, but for your background of first realizing your soul, getting from gunastan 1 to gunastan 4, that is what we are first talking about. If you don't have that much understanding of who you are and a realization based on your experience, and you will confuse between the higher level rag that remains versus your, if you justify that, you will justify this. That is not good. You have to have a clear understanding. It's not that easy to answer in a few minutes. You'll have to go into regular swadhyay. But the basic point is, understand your soul. It's separate. It is not the one who is doing all the minor kinds of attachment. Those, once you become a Gyata Drashta from Anantanubandhi Kashai point of view, Mithyatva eradication point of view, then that is the stage we need to first get. That's what she's talking about. Changing your attitude, your conviction. That's the first stage. That is Samyak Darshan. So once you have Samyak Darshan, you still have other things going on. Anyway, let her explain more. Please.
Prabhaji, it's a very, very important question. And I would like to give you 2 examples for this. Can we really help anybody? All the mighty, powerful countries, are we able to help the Afghans who are suffering over there? One question. Okay. Now, yes, we have to try and help. Still, we have to try and help. Okay. Now, it depends on their krambad, who will get the help and who will not get the help. There are so many factors involved in helping one person, or one person getting the help and other person not getting the help. So we have to understand, we have to read the whole question and analyze it from the 5 samvai point of view. So I'll request you to revisit or visit the 5 samvai portion in our Jain text. Okay, first thing. Second thing is, for example, there is an ant. I will take the example of a human being or ant or any dog or cat around. Now, if you try to hurt the dog, it is pap, right? Demeritorious karma, sin. If you try to help the dog, it is meritorious karma. In both the cases, it is the karma that you are binding. In one case, it is unfavorable karma. In one case, it is favorable karma, good karma. So that good karma will get you a stay where you will be comfortable in the universe in the next level, in the next existence. So you are conditioning yourself to Devalok or to human birth through binding the good karmas. So what actually dharma is? In the case of the dog and cat, look at the dog and cat as a pure soul. When the dog was a human being, it did not work on its pure soul, so it is in the state of a dog. And my duty is not to harm the dog in any way, but look upon the dog as I look upon my own self and do whatever is needful for the dog. That is called the detached attitude. That is called the enlightened attitude. So when you have this enlightened attitude, you will bind very good karma of a very high order, that is called as satishay punya, because you are trying to be spiritual also. You have the spiritual quotient also, and you also have the good karma. So that will eventually lead to negation of all the karmas, eventually, not now. So in the level we are all in the first baby LKG, we are in the pre-KG, we are in the first Gunasthan. So it is not in our hands to give up all the activities and reach the 14th Gunasthan in one go. But first we have to realize that we are not the doers of all this. In all the 14 Gunasthans, also I do not belong to any Gunasthan. I am beyond Gunasthan. I am like Siddha Bhagwan. I am a knower and seer. I am a pure divine consciousness. So when you realize that, only then the real Jainism will begin. I'll give you one small example and then I'll conclude. It is not in our hands to think or not to think. It is not in our hands to do or not do. I'll give you one small example. Supposing a 10-year-old child is there, and I tell the child to imagine about honeymoon, about having children, about old age and all these things. So the child will not be able to imagine. I tell the child, I'll give you 1 lakh rupees. Now come on, sit and experience of how it will be like when you're married and you're going on a honeymoon. And the child cannot think. Uski bhumika nahi hai. Uska level nahi hai that it can think of all that. Even if I give him $1 million, it will not be able to visualize the way a person who has taken to marriage and honeymoon, the way he visualizes, this child cannot visualize. Likewise, what bliss the Siddha Bhagwan, Aryan Bhagwan, the Munis are enjoying, you and I cannot visualize until and unless we are in those shoes. Second thing, a 20-year-old child, 20-year-old boy who is newly engaged, let us say a 21-year-old boy in India and a 25-year-old in US or whatever, the age is not important. Now that person, he is hanging in the local train of Mumbai, 1 leg outside, 1 leg inside. He is newly engaged. Now I tell that boy, don't think of your fiancée. I will give you $1 million. Now, can he stop himself from thinking about his fiancée? No. In whatever bhumika he is, in whatever level he is, that level of thoughts will come. So we are all in the first Gunasthan. So all kinds of karmic uday will happen. Even though the karmic uday has happened, we choose to be enlightened. We choose to be detached. We choose to be अपने ज्ञान में आनंद मानेंगे तो अपने को ज्ञेयों में आनंद नहीं आएगा. So this is a very big statement that I've made. So if you choose to be enlightened and if you choose to be rejoicing in your knowing nature and not your doing nature, then we are on the path of liberation. And that time we will be binding a greater quantity of punya karma just by this attitude itself. Okay, Bhupendra sir, I hope with these two examples you will get an insight into things. Thank you.
Dr. Jain, could you repeat that last sentence you said, that one about choosing enlightenment?
You'll have to hear the recording again. I don't know. Yeah. See, when you choose to be a knower and seer, you're choosing enlightenment. So bondage will not happen. Even if the bondage happens, it will be of a very mild kind. Just by making this choice, you're choosing the mild passions over intense passions. And then eventually these passions will go. But first the realization has to be perfect. Samyak darshan, if it comes, it will come 100% or it will not come at all. So when marriage happens, it is 100%, not today 50% marriage, tomorrow 50% marriage. No, either you get married or you're not married. Likewise, either you're enlightened or you're not enlightened. It never comes in parts, bits and parts. It comes or it doesn't come at all. So it's a very, very important, serious affair taking to Jainism
can
studies.
Make decisions though. What do you really want to do? You can try to get to that nirnaya point to decide, okay, this is the way it is, and this is the direction I want to go in. And the way I understood the question was that I think he was asking, like, should we force ourselves to do nothing?
No,
I don't think that's...
You cannot. You cannot.
Yeah.
The level in which we are...
That you don't need to like actually force yourself to do nothing or force yourself to do something. Things will happen naturally and that's fine. If you're a compassionate person, you'll do things, help people, and that's okay. Just the inside attachment has to go first. And then if it naturally you don't feel like doing stuff, that's fine. Like people who are spiritual, naturally they don't feel like working towards earning a living, gathering more money. They feel, hey, that is very less important to me anymore. But that's because it naturally happened to them. They didn't force themselves that, no, now I'm going to just pick up and throw away all this money.
So does that mean that it's like a spectrum? You start at one end of the spectrum where you're consciously doing things after, like you do swadhyaya, you learn things and you try to consciously implement things. And then along the spectrum, as you keep sliding, you move towards more and more inner activities and spiritualities. Is that what you're expressing in terms of not forcing things?
Yes, the more feeling you get who you are, things should fall in place automatically. Yes, that's what I'm getting at.
Prabhaji, I really like the word spectrum.
Yeah.
You begin with focusing on yourself and you can see all the colors of the universe.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll go to
but
the next.
I wanted to add one statement to Hemal's last part of the answer. You were saying you keep on doing a little bit of more knowing, a little bit more practicing. That continual process is not continuous to infinity in the same way. Meaning there is a step change when you have enlightenment. Before enlightenment and after enlightenment, it's not like a mild change, it's a step change. So when you learn more, you do more swadhyaya, you'll understand all these things. And just for Bhupendra Bhai, this your question was related to duty, kartapan. What do I do and how it relates? With more swadhyaya, it will come. So your one's concept of what is my duty and how it relates to enlightenment needs to be deeply understood. It's not that straightforward. She explained there is a word causation, third theory of causation. When you understand this panch samvai and many other things, it will all fall in place. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, so next question. It's again similar, but she's asking more specific. What are the causes of bondage?
The 5. Mithyatva.
There-
Bolo. Somebody else should answer.
Yeah, Harak Bhai, were you trying to answer?
Okay,
Baki-
no,
baki
I
will
can say Mithyatva, Avirati, Kashai, Pramad and Yoga.
Pehle pramad, phir kashay.
Acha.
In the order, pramad, kashay, yoga.
Yeah, that's correct. Yes.
Okay, next question. How can we overcome perversion?
By Gnan, by education or by Swadhyay.
Yeah.
Yes. So
That's the
if you get into more detail, you're
Tomorrow.
going to, first consider all the non-self as mithyatva, then learn about the 7 tattvas, then through nurturing vitrag, vigyanta, etc. That's more little detail. Okay. Again, the next question, what is Atma Jyoti hidden in the 7 tattvas? I think she already mentioned that.
Yeah, param paranamik bhav. Yayak bhav, param paranamik bhav. The real me, the Dhruv self, Karan Swabhav, whatever,
Yes, Prabhaji, we can take that answer.
Okay. All right. So we'll take that as an answer. And next one. What is the parinamic bhav? Mhm.
Yeah, this is Sripal here.
Yes.
It's the pure intrinsic nature of the soul.
Very good. Very good. Because the pure intrinsic, which is untouched by karma, kashai, etc., and kaya. The next one. What is the meaning of the term avashyak?
Essential.
Yes, would you like to answer, Meena? Meena ji?
It's Nalini, but
Oh, sorry.
I was just telling that the vash means the addicted to something, the state of equanimity. Avash means the state of realization of pure soul. That's what I have. Choose the present moment, that is samay, but like the
Yes,
avashyak.
that is correct. But
There are
right.
6 avashyak, yeah.
Okay. And who knows how many are they?
6.
6.
Very good. And then from the point of view of the objective, they are one, like example of process of treatment. So there are 6 avashyaks in the Vyavhar point of view. But mainly we have to do only one thing, is to be in our soul.
Yeah.
Okay, the next. What is the relation between Das Lakshan and liberation?
Thus, Lakshana is a liberation.
Yes, can you explain a little better? That is, the answer is correct. Because when you understand the Das Lakshan, Swarup Atma will enable one to realize, and what would you attain then?
Then you get the realized soul, or moksha.
हाँ, मोक्ष के पहले सम्यक दर्शन.
Samyak darshan, samyak jnana, samyak charitra.
Yes, very good. Okay, then what is the meaning of the verse Kashay Mukti Kil Mukti Reva? Kashay Mukti Kil Mukti Reva.
Mukti Reva.
Mukti Reva.
Muktihi Eva. So becomes Mukti Reva.
Mukti Reva. Okay.
Kasha, you look at the words Kashaya
Kashay
Mukti.
Mukti Kil Mukti
Kila Mukti.
Reva.
Kila means definitely.
Mhm.
I told it in the lecture. Kashaya Mukti, definitely Mukti Eva.
Because when you are Kashaya Mukta, you are Vitragi.
Yes.
And that's what Mukti is.
Freedom from Kashay is the real freedom. So what are the 3 connotations of Brahmacharya?
Well, Vidya, Adhyayan,
Vidya, Adhyayan, one of them, yes.
and then Brahma, Atma, like you are Atma mein Raman karna.
Ah,
And
very good.
Virya Rakshana.
Yes, good. So we got all of them. So that's it for our questions. And now we bring it back to the audience. If anyone has questions for Priyadarshana ji, or any comments or anything else.
I have given a lot of homework to all of you, the
Yeah,
takeaways. To
can you
study the
put all
different
the,
texts. Can you tell the names of the texts that I've told you all to study?
well, Bhavadipika,
Bhavdipika,
and then Niyam Sar,
Niyam Sar.
and see, that's what I wanted to know, that all these things, if you put it on a site, then we can, because right now I may not remember that, but and where we can get the information, like Hukam Chanj Bharat lectures or some,
Oh, you mean the lectures on these books? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, books or any literature available, or audio video available or
Yeah.
something.
Okay. Or anything you want to have a video, YouTube or audio, in Google, you type the keywords. Like she was talking about Karan Shuddha Paryay, which is a part of Niyamsar, it comes from Niyamsar. And so if you write that word, you will find so many speakers who have given lectures. And otherwise, we can help you with who to go with. But the book itself, there is only one book. It, like she already explained, this is not a common topic. Niyamsar you will find, but Karan Sud Paryay, there is only one author, and Kanji Swami's lectures, you know. So he derived it out of Niyamsar Gathas.
Yeah, but I have found that Kanji Swami lectures are good, but very hard to understand, and some of the quality of the video, I mean, the voice is not very clear too, you know.
Yeah, that is very rare. The voice quality, maybe you come across that one, but that does happen. The good part is that most of his lectures are word to word available in book form. Not all yet, but many, most of them.
Yeah, okay.
And it's hard to understand because we have not done enough swadhyay. There
Yeah,
are a lot
right,
of
yeah.
basic terminology. Once you get into an everyday habit of swadhyay, all will fall in place.
Right.
Bhupendra
Do you want
Bhai,
to-
Bhupendra Bhai, I would like to tell you, even though I'm a PhD in Jainism, I'm a student of Parmagam. Come to Parmagam, all your questions will be answered.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. And
That's
Prabhaji
the
is there,
best
she's
answer.
finished. Yeah, there is so much in Parmagam
It takes you from
and very
beginning to-
systematic, very systematically. You'll
and
get
it goes from beginning level to high level.
Yeah, right.
And my YouTube videos are there on the Parmagam course, which you can access.
Okay, yeah.
I'll give you the link.
Can you send me some some
I'll give
lectures
you the
too?
link, and Prabhaji is always there to help you.
Right, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So anyone else has any questions? Yeah, I mean, I know she's mentioned a lot of the books, and yes, it is definitely to keep in mind that those books definitely have all the answers and a lot of the stuff that she's mentioned, but still it's a good idea to go from the beginning, because if you just pick up Niyamsar and try to read, you won't be able
get
to
anything.
grasp it just like
You
that.
won't get the real stuff.
Be able to possible.
No, I know.
Most of the books she has mentioned, if you just take those books and try to read, you will be lost, because deep meanings, you need a guru to teach you. It's not that easy. But they are all available. The teachers are available, and explained lectures, written word to word are available, but somebody has to put in a lot of effort.
Prabhaji, I would like to make a comment.
Prabha, you're on mute.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I said, yeah, please go ahead, Shripalji.
Well, I just wanted to say, Dr. Priyadarshini's lecture is really helping us. He came to us as a guru over here, and for us, how to understand, interpret, read the scriptures. So this is definitely a great help to understand, realize who we are, and it's a lot to learn, and it's a great help. These programs are really helping us. Thank you so much, Priyadarshini.
No
And
doubt about
Jaina,
You were a wonderful audience last year and again this year.
no doubt about that.
and hope Jaina will continue help facilitate these kind of programs. And Prabhaji, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Yeah.
I
we'll-
want to call out, give a shout out to Prabhaben, because I think she has spent a lot of time in planning, picking the topics, these questions that she grills us with at the end to keep us on track. So I just want to say thank you wholeheartedly to all
Sure.
the speakers. Dr. Jain has like totally changed my life, I have to say. And Prabhaben, if you had not done all this effort, we would all have been somewhere else right now. So this has been just an amazing journey for the past as many days. I'm going to be very sad after tomorrow. I asked my sister, what are we going to do? You know, she said, we'll go listen to the YouTube videos again. And she has agreed to join the Paragam course again as well. She said, I'm going to join that with you, and let's just do this
Very
together.
good.
So we can continue
Very
this journey. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. We both appreciate it.
Actually, it's you,
That's
your own
wonderful.
upadan that is getting you all this. It's really not me or even Priyadarshanaji. I mean, there is, we had 100 people of audience. Not everybody got affected as much as some of you. So obviously it's your own upadan, your own, instinct and ichha to do all this. So Others can only help who want to help themselves. So you get the right limit when you want it, right? When you're
Right.
ready for it. So,
Yes, what's your email address?
हाँ प्रिया, मैं आपको आपके email का reply में भेजती हूँ. It's a little long one, so I don't want to print type here and make a mistake. But it's see, in my email it comes right away as soon as I start typing. So, but I know, Bhai Sahib, you emailed it to me. As Surendra Singh ji wanted to send you a thank you email, so he asked for your email, and I'll send it to him. Okay, so tomorrow is going to be our last lecture. So I don't know where your sister is, even if she's in India, if she wants to, see all the speakers or whatever, please ask her to join. We'll try
Ask
to.
her. She lives right next door. I will ask her to join.
And why is she not coming to all these?
I think she has a routine and a schedule. So she likes to do listening at the end of the day by herself on her own. She's one of those type of people.
That's okay. Yeah, I guess this time we have had more of those types of people. More people are watching the videos afterwards.
Claudia's comment.
Yes, Claudia, would you like to say any comments?
She wrote it down. She had to go.
Okay, that's fine. If she has to go, that's fine. I think she left.
She wrote down.
That's okay. Oh, there is a comment. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks. I pushed a meeting back to 9 to be here, so I must go. I appreciate it. Oh, that was nice of her. Yeah, all right. Yeah.
Can we wind up? It's time
yes.
For me to leave.
Yeah, it's time for Priyaji to go, and it's time. We are also in good time now. So thank you all for being attentive, answering our questions, because if we did not have a good audience, this would not go as well. So, applaud to all of the audience, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Tomorrow is the grand finale, so please everybody come and call all your friends to come.
And tomorrow's, of course, topic, I think I've already announced, it's
Swadhyay, its importance, the magic of Swadhyay.
So, and we'll have all the speakers tomorrow also. So, okay. Jai Jinendra, let's do the prayer. And Priyadarshana ji, aap wo karenge. Yeah. Oh, by the way, Uttam Shama and Michami Dukram to all of you. If I've said anything inadvertently that could have hurt you, I am very, very sorry. Apologies. Please forgive me. And today is the Uttam, last day actually, technically, of this lecture. But
the takeaway from today's lecture would be ABCDS. A for awareness. ABCDS.
Let people guess, Priyaji. What did you say? ABCDS?
Yes.
S.
Okay.
ABCDS.
Who wants to try to guess?
A for, yeah.
Awareness, you said.
A for awareness.
Okay.
B for breathing. The moment you get Kashai, just come and watch your breath and come to your state of awareness. And C is consistency. Consistently, let there be compassion in action. First, be compassionate towards your own self and look upon others and let that action, compassion flow. And D is for diet. Upvas, jada se jada. Upvas, kam se kam dravya. Mono diet. D is diet, that is Kashai, Vishay, and Ahar ka diet. How much Kashai is intake you're doing, how much of Indriya Vishay intake, and how much of food intake. The more food you take, the more Vishay Kashai will grow. The less food you take, the sooner you will overcome your Vishay and Kashai. So that is a diet. And S is smile. Where your smile is.
What's the problem?
1 second.
Okay, that's it.
Very
and
good.
Do the Mangal part now?
Yes, let's do it.
Yeah. So I hope you all will resolve to follow A, B, C, D, S. If it is so, then you will resolve and then I will do the Pratyakyan. I will pronounce the part of प्रत्याख्यान. तो आप सबको मैं पचकान करा रही हूँ. धारणा प्रमाणे पचकान कि मैं जागृत रहूंगा, मैं प्रसन्न रहूंगा, मैं आनंद में रहूंगा, विषय कषाय आहार के त्याग की ओर बढ़ूंगा. धारणा प्रमाणे पचकान तस भन्ते परिकमामि निंदामि गरिहामि अपाणम वोसिरे वोसिरे. You all will say अपाणम वोसिरामि. गुरुदेव की आज्ञा से, बड़ों की आज्ञा से चत्तारी मंगलम अरहंता मंगलम सिद्धा मंगलम साहू मंगलम केवली पन्नतो धम्मो मंगलम. चत्तारी लोगुत्तमा अरहंता लोगुत्तमा सिद्धा लोगुत्तमा साहू लोगुत्तमा केवली पन्नतो धम्मो लोगुत्तमो. चत्तारी शरणम पवज्जामि अरहंते शरणम पवज्जामि सिद्धे शरणम पवज्जामि साहू शरणम पवज्जामि केवली पन्नतम धम्मम शरणम पवज्जामि. अरियंतों का शरणा, सिद्धों का शरणा, साधुओं का शरणा, केवली प्ररूपित दया धर्म का शरणा. ये चार शरणा दुख हरना और न शरणा कोई, जो भवि प्राणी आदरे तो अक्षय अमर पद हो. जय जिनेन्द्र.
Yes,
Thank you, Priya ji.
thank you.